Hi guys, welcome to the 𝗙𝗃𝗂𝗵𝘁𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁 podcast. My name is 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝘂𝗂𝗵𝘁𝗂𝗵. Today we'll be talking about maximizing educational opportunities for a brighter future abroad. The greener pasture. So the first thing we'll talk about is choosing the right educational path. You need to know what your brain can handle in school. Either you can go for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or PhD. You need to have a time map. And also you need to plan on the level of what your brain can handle and your situation of things. Or preferably, if the cheapest route is for you to just get certifications. Get me? You need to understand various educational systems abroad and the best you can afford. So the second one is navigating admission processes. Now, if you have paperwork, which is legal paperwork, like let's say a green card or employment authorization, you can ask around and as long as you can afford these educational prospects, I would suggest you try it. Call them, send them an email, and just talk to them. Ask them for, it's as simple as ask them, I want to know the admission process to get into so programs. And they will ask you, what is your status? And, tell them, you need to understand that education in a first world country, it is a business and they need your money. So the third one is scholarship and financial aid. If you have employment authorization, I am confident they won't give you a scholarship or financial aid. No, they won't. But if you have a green card, most definitely, I'm sure you can get a scholarship or a financial aid. A financial aid is like a support from the federal government or the state government. And you must have been in that state for a while to get scholarship or to get financial aid. Well, it depends. If you have a good grade, or let's say you're coming from outside, if you're coming from outside of that first world country, you've never been to that first world country before, I would suggest you explore the scholarship opportunities, for international students. And you need to send an email to the admissions department, ask them for guidance on financial planning and budgeting. Obviously, it's not everyone that has that money, like let's say $20,000 for per year. Like that is a lot of money. So it doesn't cost you much to reach out to them for better insights, if that makes sense. So the next thing we'll talk about is cultural adjustment and integration. I want you to understand something about migrating from your home country or your place of destination to a first world country. People's personality are different. You will meet people that look exactly like you. I'm talking about skin complexion, the same accent. They even dress like you. I can assure you though, they are completely different. Because we're talking about the mental state of mind of people in another economy that is completely different from yours. So before you make that adjustment of moving into a first world country, I would suggest you prepare your mind for a cultural shock. Prepare your mind for cultural differences in educational settings. Prepare your mind for cultural differences in people's mental state of mind. Like take for example, I am an African man, and I know for a fact that black people in America, they have a completely different sense of humor compared to my sense of humor. Like, for example, if I see a Ghanaian man and I'm joking with him and I say, oh, our food is better than your food, he's going to laugh at me. And, we'll laugh at each other and just joke and just hug each other and say, it's good to see you, brother. Have a good life. But I can't just walk up to me, the black man, and say, our food is better than your food. He's going to be upset. As a matter of fact, if I'm not careful, it's going to hurt me. Those are the cultural differences that I'm talking about, and you have to be aware of this. The black man I'm talking about, or black people that I'm talking about, we have the same skin complexion. As a matter of fact, we look alike. but the mental state of mind is different. So you just need to just understand and you respect people based on their cultural standards and limitations. Also, I want you to prepare yourself to integrate into a new culture. They have their own behaviors, they have their own way of doing things. I'm not just talking about blacks, I'm talking about Caucasians, I'm talking about Europeans, I'm talking about people in general. They have their ways of doing things. It is not your responsibility to criticize them one-on-one and try to teach them. Remember, 6 and 9, it is the same shape, but it depends on where you stand. Does that make sense? So the next one we'll talk about is language proficiency and enhancement. So you need to work on your communication skills and learn how to use your language skills, for academic success. And let's say you come from a country where it is encouraged that you have to be highly expressive. There are some countries in this world you go to that being expressive is being frowned upon. And you have to adjust into that kind of economy, especially if you are going into that economy to pursue a greener pasture. Does that make sense? So your language proficiency is very, very important. So that means you need to know how to use your communication skills. You don't have to be expressive in all angles. Does that make sense? You don't have to. So you need to build a strategy that fits you on when to talk and when not to talk. Like this is as harsh reality as possible. So the next one I want to talk about is building a supportive academic network. When you eventually get to the school you're going to, I want you to join groups, online campus groups, either from people from your country. You can join groups of people from your continent. You can join groups of people we are in the same program. Because at the end of the day, we all need friends. We need support system. Everything is not just about finance. It might just be companionship. You need them. Build rapport. You might be fortunate to find a friend that will stand the test of your time. A friend that would be around. So the next one we'll talk about is internship and work study programs. I want you to explore the opportunities for gaining practical experience doing studies. You need to, before you do this though, make sure you can balance academics and internship plus work study programs. Because it can be very, very challenging though if you go to school full time and you have to do internship and then you have to have a full-time job to pay your bills and those things. It can be too much. It can become exhausting. So make sure you can handle this. And it is highly encouraging that you get an internship, at least with a company or with your school, that can teach you on what you are already learning in school. So that way, when you finish school, it's easy for you to get a job. And with LinkedIn, though, you can get a job in anywhere in the world, and you can easily work from home. So another thing is building a supportive academic network. I was talking about developing relationship with professors and peers. And when I was doing my master's degree in computer science right here in Minnesota, I was one of the worst students in class, And when I say worst, I'm talking about not too intelligent. Because everyone that was in class with, they all came from bachelor's degree in computer science, bachelor's degree in software engineering, bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Now they're doing, the master's degree was master's degree in computer science, software engineering. But I was unique though. I was coming from bachelor's degree in business and psychology. Like I had zero experience in computer studies and software development. You might be fortunate to be in class with people that they know you are intelligent. So, that's when I realized that people don't make friends with people that are less intelligent than them. I have a software company now, and life is good. Most of the people that looked down on me back then, they have a full-time job now, which is not a bad thing. But I'm just saying that it would have made my journey easier if I had, let's say, friends, people that I persuaded and I walked over and said, wow, I would like to be your friend, man. And they said, no, I would suggest you focus on your book. You get me? That's as harsh as possible. But if you're more privileged than I am, I would suggest you make friends with your peers and your professors. So another thing I want to talk about is career development and planning. Early steps in planning for postgraduate careers. You don't have to wait till after school till you start planning for school, a job, a full-time job. So from you having an internship, it's possible for you to be it's possible for you to do a good job and they retain you full-time. If that makes sense, it's possible. And you don't want to be that kind of student that place all your eggs in one basket. You have to be very, very intelligent to know that people can disappoint you. So plan for it though. Use the help of your school professors. Use the help of your school programs. Use it for the bulletin boards that post job opportunities every week. Use it to your advantage. And also look into starting a business. The world is more easier compared to 50, 100 years ago, where you have to create all these tools and all these business strategies from scratch. Somebody else has created it already. So if if nobody wants to employ you, you can start a business on the side. But before then, though, you need that internship for people to teach you. Yes, you want people to teach you though. And this is where career development and planning comes in. Another thing I want to talk about is coping with academic pressure. You need to have a strong strategies for managing stress and academic pressure. In my first semester, when I was doing my master's degree, I was supposed to drop out of that program though. That class was Introduction to Python. Now Python is a programming language. Now I am a wizard in Python because I went on to learn different programming language. And I come to realize that aside from HTML, Python is the easiest. But I was at the inception phase of this of learning a new language, a new skills. One of my professors suggested to me that I should start playing video games. I don't like video games. I don't even like sports. So he bought me this book, Introduction to Python for Dummies. And he gave me C. In a master's program, you're not supposed to have a C. He gave me a C because he said he could have easily given me a D and I would have failed like no opportunity. But that opportunity changed my mind. But not to deviate though. You need to have a way to manage stress because it can be very, very challenging. Yes, from the pressure, having a full-time job, you are in a new economy, the weather is just too cold, or just, life is just, you're struggling financially, all these things, bro. It can be too much. So you need to find a way to balance, the stress. Either you like watching movies or you like watching cartoons. I still watch cartoons. I'm 39 years old and I still watch cartoons. I still read comic books because it makes me feel better. So there's no shame in it. Just find yourself something that you can use to manage your stress and stay focused. Also, I would suggest you seek support from counseling or mental health services. It can be very, very pricey. The fact that you are fresh in a new country, I would suggest you use mobile applications. and do your research on mental health softwares and go for it. Also, I want to talk about cultural exchanges and extracurricular activities. I want you to participate in cultural exchange programs. Involvement in clubs, societies, and extracurricular activities. This is the same thing as you making friends with your peers and your professors, but this is different though. This is like a group. You get me? Like, when you participate in this group, you get to know what is going on. Don't place yourself in a bubble. You are not an island. You get me? Like, you need friends. You need people that will tell you what is going on. I am an introvert. I don't function that well around a large number of people. So, majority of the time I prefer to be by myself. Like, if I don't know you, I don't want to associate myself with you. I had to break out of that barrier, when I started my program, because I moved from Texas to Minnesota. I had to break out of that barrier because, I had to make new friends. Leave my parents, my family, everyone in Texas, and came to Minnesota. I had to make new friends. And when I say new friends, I didn't make a large proportion of friends because people in Minnesota, they don't make friends with new people. So, you might be like me that end up in a place like that where people don't make friends with new people. So, but with this group, clubs, societies, and extracurricular activities, I'm pretty sure you'll meet somebody that will fit into the kind of personality that you are. Also, I want to talk about research opportunities and projects. You need to have a project you can attach to your LinkedIn profile and say, okay, this is what I worked on when I was in school. I worked on so. You get me? Like, so as a software engineer, obviously, I worked on tens of, close to 100 projects, Python projects, C++ projects, Java project, the website development project, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity project. You get me? Like, a lot of, projects. You want to participate in all these things, and make sure you talk to your classmates. Let them know that, okay, if you guys are struggling with any projects or anything, please let me come, reach out to me so we can pull our heads together and work on this. You might not be the most intelligent, you get me, like, but at least you will learn something from them. You need to make it an habit to collaborate with professors and peers on research initiative. Do not place yourself in a bubble. Also, understanding visa regulations and compliance. Don't break the law, my good friends. Different countries with different rules and regulations. Some, they will take it personal if you break their laws. You get me? So make sure you know their laws, though. If they give you a student visa and they tell you to come into the country, and they tell you you don't have to, like, you must not work with that student visa. That means you must not go out there to apply for a job. You get me? Don't do it. Even if you're struggling, though, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, though, because you don't want to have any problem with their immigrations and and all these things. So I would suggest you find a way to navigate visa regulations for international students and make sure you stay compliant with immigration laws. So another thing I want to talk about is utilizing career services and placement. So I want you to leverage career services for job placement. And, this is for you if you're looking for an internship or a full-time job. Say, for example, you're a student in a school where you don't have the opportunity because it's, pressed on you that, okay, you can't use your student visa to get a job. You get me? You can easily find someone to employ you and tell them to sponsor you. If that makes sense, they can sponsor you. That's possible, though. It's like a guarantor, somebody that will sponsor you and say, okay, I will sponsor whatever, like, okay, either the internship or the full-time job. So that means they have to pay the federal government some money. In the United States, I think it's like $6,000 for the first 2 years. and the next year, after that's 2 years, I think it's like $15,000. So those people have to be extra generous, though. You get me? To do that. So another thing is networking. Oh no, I was talking about utilizing career services. The next one is connecting with alumni network for mentorship. You can find them, past students of your school. You can find them on LinkedIn. Add them, shoot them a message, tell them a little bit of your story. I'm a young boy, I'm a young woman, I'm a young man, I'm a young woman. I need your help, a mentorship or something. I know you are pretty occupied. I don't mind 10 minutes of your time just to guide me on how to do so. People, you'll be surprised though, people like to teach. People like to feel like they are in the position of teaching somebody that used to be in their shoes, if that makes sense. So utilize this to your advantage. You get me? Okay, another thing we should talk about is networking events and conferences. I want you to participate in industry-related events and conferences. You can get this through your school, and to your school, the school office of admissions. Ask them about the networking events of your school or neighboring schools within your city, because there are tens, if not hundreds, of schools around. Ask them, okay, how can I connect with their events? Bro, this is probably going to take you a lot of time, but you need this because you're trying to build a professional network for future opportunities. Be wise. So, another one is global perspective in educations. You need to embrace diverse perspective in an international educational settings. You can't be stuck in your ways. You're coming from your home country. You need to look at it from this side of you. What is accepted in your country, it might be frowned upon in a first world country or in other people's country. So prepare your mind to embrace diverse perspective, and also, learn to contribute to a global academic community. Join groups, man. Join groups. Don't be stuck in your ways. Another thing I want to talk about is time management and study techniques. When you're struggling financially, you're trying to make money, working full time, taking evening classes or early morning classes, there might not be too much, there might not be enough time for you to study, and do assignments, and it's possible for this to put a lot of stress on you. So I want you to develop a strategy, an effective time management strategy for academic success. I want you to adopt study techniques that is suitable, for you in a foreign educational environment, though. So that means you need to have a pen or a paper to write this down. Let's say you work 6 hours every day, because I'm pretty sure they can give you a part-time. Let's say 6 or 5 hours every day. You get me? Don't get carried away, though. Like, you're trying to survive in this first world country, though. You're not you're not here to have fun. You will have fun every now and then, but don't get carried away, though. Don't get carried away. Make sure you pass, at least in that school, though. You must win. You get me? So another thing I want to talk about is adapting to technological advancement in education. Don't be stuck in your ways. Incorporate technology into your learning process. Like, take for example, I started using ChatGPT like 2 years ago, and it's I would say this as a software engineer, it's one of the biggest technology creation I've experienced. You can do that for your school too, but be careful of plagiarism. You know what plagiarism is? You don't want to be caught. So just learn to use ChatGPT for your research. So it's not just ChatGPT. I'm talking about new technologies and new tools for educational purposes and career development. So another thing is health and well-being doing studies abroad. You working full-time, going to school full-time, you don't have that much time for fun because weekend you have assignments to do and you're calling a lot of people. There is a massive expectations on your life as a human being, especially when you migrate from a third world country into a first world country. You want to utilize every opportunity that is given to you. It's possible for you to be stressed out because at first there's a very, very big chance that you might look at yourself like a failure. But you are not a failure. You get me? You're not a failure though. So prioritize your health and your well-being. If insurance is too expensive for you to acquire, I would suggest you reach out to your people back at home. Let them tell you where to get medications and the type of medications you need to have in your bosom, your place of rest. So that way, okay, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling stressed, okay, you need to take so and so medications though. You get me? And second to the last is preparing for graduation and beyond. You need to prepare step by step to take a final year studies. Like, okay, I'm graduating in December. This is January. Okay, we need to go head to head. Okay, we need to do this. You get me? And you need to plan for post-graduation goals and opportunities. In some countries, they expect you to leave that country, that first world country, immediately and go back. You get me? If you know that you don't have anything to fall back on in your home country, I would suggest 1 year or 2 years before your graduation, make sure you start making plans. Make plans, my good friends. Plan for post-graduation goals and opportunities. Utilize every opportunity around. You get me? Like, you're not one of the citizens of that country though. Don't get carried away. It's possible for you to have friends that just wants to party all the time. You are not one of them. So, to round this up, let's talk about reflection and future growth. I want you to reflect on the educational journey abroad. This is your last year and you want to reflect. And for me though, I prefer to reflect from the beginning before I start something, so I know the direction I'm going. I don't like to walk blindly into, anything. I like to plan from number A to Z. You get me? I want you to set goals for continuous personal and professional development. It is very, very important. Just because you graduated school, that is not the end of learning. You get me? Like, you become teachers of men, leaders of men, and you have to keep getting better. You get me? So if you're a man, you're listening to me right now, I want you to keep your chin up. Level up. Keep your shoulders up like this. Keep your shoulders high though, my good friends. And be level-headed. You need to understand that the challenge you go through, it is preparing you for what you asked for. So, snap out of the stress, snap out of the low self-esteem. Be strong, my good friends. Be very, very strong. Be courageous. You will survive this. I promise you, those before you survive this, they didn't lose their mind. At one point, you might feel like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. But you won't snap. I can assure you this. I can say this to you authoritatively. I have been there and I survived it. Continue to be well, guys, and show your love, show your support. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on TikTok and subscribe to my Apple and Spotify. And I drop content like this every day. So, and if I don't, I'm probably away for business. Well, continue to be well, my friends. Have a good day.